Okay. I'm coming back to the tour in Brașov for the second part. So I was telling you in the first part of the tour that after the moment of the conquest of Transylvania by the Hungarian Kingdom, the Hungarians starting to brought in here a lot of Germans to start the manufactures, to start the manufacturing and all the merchandising with all the other countries around. They brought also Hungarians and Sekes, a nation related with the Sekes, but much better warriors than the Hungarians, to defend the eastern side of Transylvania to the Carpathians. And also they try to deal with the Romanians to stop the rebellions against them, of course without success. So here in Brașov, the Germans, which were brought in here, they built a city, as you can see it right now, for the first time on another location near the Spreng Hill, and on the hill, trying to be defended much better by the enemies. And they stayed there till around 1421, when a very powerful Turkish invasion destroyed that settlement, and they were forced to come in here to settle on a new location, where you can see that right now exists the actual medieval city. Here in the council square, you can see, as I said, the council house, which was at the beginning only the watchtower to see the things happening around of the city, the fire, the enemy comings, and then little by little the guilds were starting to build around of the main tower their offices, and putting it one near the other. At the end resulted the building that you can see it right now, and which used to be for a very long time the city hall of Brașov, of the city. On the other side of the square, you can see a big pink palace, which it is called the Cel Palace. It used to be the home of the palace of a very rich family, which had a lot of industry in the 19th century in Brașov. Now, from all those industries, remain only the brewery, the place where we are producing and bottling beer. It's a very popular beer in Romania called Ciucaș. To the left of that building, as you can look at it, it's a small blue and white house, which belongs to the Mureșanu family, one of the intellectual families from Brașov, politicians, writers, poets, and the founders of the first Romanian newspaper here in Transylvania under the Hungarian occupation, called Transylvanian Gazette. And to the right side of the pink palace, it's another small beige house, which used to be the headquarters of the Austrian army during of the occupation from the 18th century, which was used as a hotel for the Emperor Francis Joseph II and at its visits in Transylvania. Also, on this side of the street, around 1800, 1880, it used to be a place for promenade here in Brașov. And uphill, you can see the White Tower, which was part of the exterior fortifications of the city to not let the enemy to approach the city from that side. Here, in this beautiful house, which was built after 1680, where we had a very big fire in the city, the archaeologists discovered the first pharmacy of the city and also the first pharmacy of Transylvania and of Romania in the same time. I have here another orange house, which it was built into the 16th century, in the second half of the 16th century, as a warehouse for the guilds from the city. Now it was transformed into a restaurant. It used to be a restaurant also during the communism, and as a commercial gallery. It's called the Carpathian Stag. Going further to the Black Church, I will tell you a couple of things before to go there about the guilds, because I mentioned the guilds a couple of times. The guilds were economical engines of the medieval city, and those guilds were actually specialized in different types of works, like shoemakers, blacksmiths, goldsmiths, I don't know, the people which was working with leather, carpenters, tailors, no? a lot of guilds. And to become the member of a guild, with such a guild, you have to be a boy in age of 13, 14 years old. He was working for about 2 years as an apprentice, and after those 2 years you had the possibility and the obligation in the same time to go and work in other regions outside of your city, practicing your skills. After that, you have to come back to your city, sustain another exam, pay an amount of money as a tax, and then to get married with one of the daughters of the members of that guild, just to be sure that the business will remain in family. Going to the Black Church, it's called Black Church because, as you can see, the color of the stone, it's pretty dark. That because of the fire from the second half of the 17th century, which destroyed the city in a more than 2/3 proportion. It was a siege of the enemy, which was used fire cannonballs. The structure of the buildings was mostly made by wood, so the wind was blowing pretty powerful. Somewhere here in the council square, it was a gunpowder warehouse, and when the fire touched it, you can imagine what happened. So the city burned for about 2 days. The church, it was destroyed in a very large proportion, and from that period we have the name of the Black Church. Speaking about the Black Church, as I told you, it's a Gothic church. It's the largest between Vienna and Istanbul, because in Vienna we have St. Stephen's Dome, one of the most beautiful Gothic churches in Europe. And Istanbul, it was in the medieval times and in the modern times the capital of the Ottoman Empire, the rival of the Occidental civilization and the danger of the Occidental civilization in the medieval times. Here, this building belongs to the elementary school Johannes Honterius, which is together with the building in the back, that building with 2 floors, which is the high school Johannes Honterius. I will talk about him at the right moment. Till then, this church, this Gothic church, probably you can observe that it's not very rich decorated, as you know that are usually the Gothic churches in Belgium or in France. That because the Romanian Gothic, the Transylvanian Gothic, was brought in here by the Cistercian monks, which had as a philosophy of life the Latin dicton ora et labora, which was meaning pray and work. So a very simple life, which was reflecting into the architecture, into the Gothic architecture of those monks. Speaking about the Gothic and about the churches, you know that when the Christian religion was admitted into the Roman Empire around the year 330 by Constantine the Great, the emperor of the Byzantine Empire, which it was actually the western half of the Roman Empire. This the Christians were starting to get together into the basilicas, which was an institution of the Roman Empire designed as a court in front of the king, or of the nobles, of the aristocrats, and they was using it as a church. Actually, in Romanian, the term for the church, the word for the church, it's biserică, which came from this Latin word basilica. So the first churches built properly to be a church, it were built in the Romanic style, and this Romanic style was trying to recreate heaven inside of the church. That's why a lot of saints, that's why images of God, of Jesus Christ, that's why flowers, angels, but was missing one of the most important elements of the heaven, the light of God, because the windows of those churches, of those Romanic churches, were pretty narrow. So that's why somebody was thinking, let's build a larger opening into the walls for the windows, like for example these ones from here. But a greater opening, it was meaning not a very solid structure of resistance of the church. So that's why one of the architects from France discovered the Gothic vault, which is, as you certainly know, it's are two arches of stone placed into a cross, one over the other. The spaces in between were filled up with lighter materials like bricks, for example, and those arches was downloaded all the heaviness of the vaults on the lateral sides walls of the church, which were sustained, as you can see in here from the outside, by these buttresses to keep everything steady and to not collapse, because the pushing of weight was not from up to down, but also lateral pushings. So when the people finish it, the first phase of construction of the first Gothic church, they realized that they doesn't have the technique, necessary technique to build such big windows from a single piece of glass. So that's why they were forced to invent the stained glass windows, which you know how are they done. Small pieces of glass, put it together into a drawing or something else. And when everything was ready, the critics were saying that the result, it's a very ugly construction, it's a very ugly architecture. Likewise, only the Goths, the most well-known barbarians of the time, were capable to build, and from the Goths, the name of Gothic style. Here on the Black Church, you can see the main entrance for the priests, and up on the both sides, to the left, as you are watching to it, is the statue of Saint John the Baptist and of the Archangel Michael. The next one is Saint Jacobus, the protector of the pilgrims, Saint Catherine. Saint Catherine, you can see it right here, with a cartwheel in her hand, because she was executed with a cartwheel. And on the corner of the church, where is that buttress, we have the image of Thomas Sander, which was the priest which had the idea to build here in Brașov at what was considered in those times the end of the Catholic world, even that the Romanians, which were the majority of population in their country, were Orthodox, was Greek Orthodox, to build, as I said, a big church here to impress the visitors and to offer a less place to pray to the people which was leaving this territory to do commerce into the Muslim world, for example. Speaking about the Catholic Church, we can hear the bells ringing. Speaking about the Catholic Church, the man which is represented here in this statue is Johannes Honterius. It's a German humanist from Brașov, and he's the one which was influenced in the first half of the 16th century by the ideas of Martin Luther, the one which do the reform of the Catholic Church in the west of Europe. And this German humanist from Brașov wrote at his turn the Book of the Reform, and he actually switched the religion of the Germans and of the Hungarians from Catholic to Protestant. And the Germans became mostly evangelic, and the Hungarians mostly Calvinist. He's keeping in his left hand an open book. On one of the pages can be written the Book of the Reform. On the other page, the school regulation, one of his two fundamental books. And with his right finger, he's pointing in this direction, what you saw previously, the high school, Johannes Honterius, which is a high school with the teaching exclusively in German, and it's like this since at least 50 years ago. So it was designed for the German community, which was existed here in Romania till 1990, when the Germans get back to Germany, to the land of their ancestors, being afraid that the communism could come back. So this is the German high school, and here you saw a couple of trees planted around 1912 and dedicated as it follows. The last one to Philip Melanchthon, one of the helpers of Martin Luther to do this religious reform. The ones from the center dedicated to Martin Luther itself, and this young one from here was it's a new one which was planted like 8 years ago, because the old tree dedicated to Johannes Honterius was dried, and they cut it and replaced it with this new one. From here, I will continue my tour to Brașov, going to the end of the tour. We'll see one of the narrowest streets in Romania, in this part of Europe, and the narrowest street in Romania. It's called the Rope Street. And it was at the beginning, when the city was rebuilt here in 1421, as I told you in the first part of this tour. It was built as a small frontier to separate the neighborhoods of the guilds. And when the people were starting to build the houses, because of the lack of space, they were building it pretty much one over the other, one near the other, all the houses. So they covered all the frontiers which were existed. Only this one remained till us in that shape, and was transformed into a very narrow street. We'll see it in very soon. Till then, you can see a little bit from here, part of the church, and probably in about 10 minutes we'll end this tour into Brașov. The idea is that we are moving inside of the medieval city, which used to be surrounded by walls, into the medieval time. And I will enter on the Rope Street. Till then, in the back, it's the Skate Gate, called like this after the name of the Romanian neighborhood, because the Romanians doesn't have the right to live into the German city. The Romanians, starting with the 15th century, became a tolerated nation in their own country. They are not recognized as a nation living in Transylvania. Were recognized only the Germans, the Hungarians, and the Czechs. So when they lose this recognition as a nation, they are losing actually all the rights, military, political, and social. So actually they are used only as a hand of work for the masters of the land, the Germans and the Hungarians. I will try to enter on the Rope Street. Dați voie și mie să intru un pic? Mulțumesc. And here, as you can see, the street is really narrow. Of course, the walls are covered with graffitis. Even that at the beginning, the authorities of the city designed this white part from the wall for the graffiti, but apparently the talent and the miseducation of some of the people made that all those drawings to pass over delimited area. It's something which I will never understand. And up on the hill, on the Tâmpa hill, which actually we call it Tâmpa mountain, you can see written the name of the city, Brașov, it is our Brașov wood, like the Hollywood sign. And here we'll arrive into another part of the city, on another small street with houses built in this German style. And because this street is called the Rope Street, here we have a rope lady, which is the symbol of the Rope Street. I will go towards the Catherine's Gate, which is remained till today the single original gate from the medieval times into our city. And in front of us, in front of you, you can see a fragment of the old defense wall of the city. We'll go to see it closer in a moment. Also, the city of Brașov was the place where existed a romance between Vlad the Impaler Dracula and Catherine, the daughter of the chief of the Goldsmith Guild, a German girl. They never get married. They had different religions, different nationalities. He was a prince, she was an ordinary woman. But with all this, they had about 6 children together, and she was apparently his one love of Vlad the Impaler Dracula, and they were met right here in Brașov, near this wall that you can see it in front of you, when he was working in our city at the defense and the maintenance of one of the bulwarks, which was reinforcing the defensive system of the city. And in one winter, when she was coming with a sledge with food and other materials for the soldiers, and she was trying to climb this small hill, let's call it, from here, he was the one which sawing her, pulling very, very, very hard. That sledge was coming to help her, and from here was starting this this beautiful romance. About the Vlad the Impaler, I spoke into my other videos, the ones about Sighișoara, for example, Dracula's birthplace. So if you want to hear much about him, you can watch those videos from our YouTube channel, Visit Transylvania. In front of us, on the hill on the back, you can see the so-called Black Tower. It was whitened in the last years. It was struck by a lightning and remained black for a long period of time. 15 years ago, the authorities considered to clean it, which was a mistake in my opinion, because now I can't speak about the Black Tower anymore. We are closing by to the end of our tour, in front of the St. Catherine's Gate, which is a real spectacular one, because it have 4 small turrets on its corners, which are a very powerful symbol into the German world. You will see it in many places, dominated by the Germans in the medieval times. So in Austria, in Switzerland, in Germany, and Czech Republic, in Slovakia, in Hungary. This is the skate gate. As I told you, Romanians was living on the other side of this gate, into the mountains, into the hills. They had their own village. It's a gate built around 1890 because the previous one was shaken pretty badly by an earthquake, and the authorities decided to demolish it and built a new one. Across the street, I will show you. You can see already the towers of the St. Catherine's Gate. But before to get there, I will stop a little bit to this map of the medieval city to see how it used to be around 17th century. We are where it's now number 13 at St. Catherine's Gate, and our tour was started where it's number 8, where is number 9. It's a round tower very close to us, and I came to that street which starts from the number 9 tower, round tower, and I was going till the number 1, where is the Black Church, to number 2, where it's the council house and the council square, and now we are at the number 13. You see, it's a city which used to be surrounded by walls and defended very, very well for those times. The story of those small fort turrets, it's the next one. The idea is that they try to warn the people that in the cities or localities which have this symbol of the fort turrets on the corners of the gate, they can lose their head because that city had the right to apply the death penalty. You know that the death penalty was something that mostly the king or the emperor could do. So, but for services, political services, military services, economical services done for the king, this one can give this supreme right to apply the death penalty to the criminals, to some communities or nobles. And the Germans, to show this thing, to give this warning to the people, they placed on the main towers or on the churches around of the main tower those 4 small turrets. As you can see it right here as well. And above of the main door of the gate is the coat of arms of Brașov, a crown sitting on a cutted tree with roots, and you can see the 9/15/59. You can see the year where this gate was erected. This was pretty much the tour in Brașov, in 2 parts, unfortunately, because the first part was made on a live session on YouTube, and because of the signal and the problems with the orientation of the phone, I was forced to, this is the Black Church again, I was forced to stop the transmission and take it back as a video on my personal smartphone to end it like this. I hope you like it, the tour. I hope you learned something extra, and if you like it, please give us a like, and if you want to see many other videos like this, please give us a subscribe to our channel to be there, and I invite you to check the Romania travel vlog playlist from our page, from our YouTube channel, just to see all the other videos that we have it on different touristical objectives in Romania. And if you like it, please don't forget to give the like, to be sure that the movie goes to as many as possible people to see our work and to appreciate it at their time. Thank you very much. And with the image of the former blacksmith bulwark of the city, I will let you and I will salute you from here, from Brașov, from the heart of Romania, and I will wait you for another movies, on another videos on our channels. Thank you very much.